Prince and the Bee. Once upon a time, there lived a lonely prince called Rupert. Every day, Rupert watched the village children playing. He really wanted to join the children, but the queen wouldn't let him. The village children were rough and tough. She was worried Rupert would get hurt. I know, the queen thought. Rupert needs a loyal playmate, a nice princess to play games with. But how could she find the right princess? The queen reads books to discover how other princes had found princesses. Some princes had rescued their princesses from tall towers, witches, or dragons. Ah, far too dangerous, the queen cried. Another prince had held a ball, but ended up dancing with a servant girl in disguise. How awful, the queen gasped. But how could you tell if someone was truly a princess? Suddenly, the queen found the answer. Rupert, the queen cried, busting through the door one morning. Meet Princess Amelia. Rupert's eye lit up. He was finally allowed to have a playmate. He couldn't wait to play with Amelia. But Amelia was no fun at all. All she wanted to do was play with violin very loudly and very badly. Rupert covered his ears. He couldn't wait for Amelia to go home. To Rupert's horror, the queen invited Amelia to sleep over. She'd even made her a special bed, piled high with 40 mattresses. Then, when Amelia went to brush her teeth, Rupert saw the queen put a pea under the mattresses in Amelia's bed. What are you doing? Rupert asked. I have a clever plan, the queen smiled. If Amelia can feel this pea through all these mattresses, it will prove that she is a real princess. Why do you need to know that? Rupert asked. Because only a real princess is good enough to be your regular playmate, my darling, the queen said, hugging him. Then you won't be lonely anymore. Rupert was worried. He'd rather be lonely than play with the awful Amelia ever again. Then Rupert had a clever plan of his own. When the queen wasn't looking, he removed the pea. Good morning, Amelia, said the queen the next morning. Did you sleep well? Very well, Amelia said. That was the most comfortable bed I have ever slept in. The queen frowned. Rupert grinned. His plan has worked. But the queen didn't give up. She invited more and more princesses to stay. Each one was more boring than the last. The girls spent all day gazing at the palace jewels. One talked non-stop. Another didn't talk at all. Every day the queen placed a pea underneath the towering mattresses, and every evening Rupert removed it before bedtime. I can't believe it, the queen sighed. None of these girls are real princesses. Rupert hid his grin. Oh well, the queen said. Princess Clarabelle is coming tonight. Maybe she'll be the one. But the hours ticked by, and there was no sign of Princess Clarabelle. A storm raged outside. Maybe she's not coming, Rupert said hopefully. He'd had enough boring princesses to last a lifetime. Nonsense. She's probably just been delayed by this horrible storm, the queen replied. Gazing out of the window. Finally, there was a knock at the door. A girl stood dripping on the doorstep. Hi, she said, I am. Oh, you must be Clarabelle, the queen cried, hugging her. We have been expecting you. Let's get you some dry clothes and some dinner. What would you like? Smoked salmon? Roast chicken? Have you got any fish fingers? Clarabelle asked. The queen's eyes widened. I didn't even know fish had fingers. How exotic. Rupert had never tried fish fingers before. They were delicious. Shall we listen to some music now? The Queen suggested. I could play for you, Clarabelle offered. Yes, please, the Queen cried. How delightful, Rupert sighed. Not more horrible scratchy violin music. But it wasn't Clarabelle played the drums. That was amazing, Rupert cried. Can you teach me? Not now, it's bedtime, the Queen said quickly. Rupert couldn't sleep. Clarabelle was the best playmate yet. He hoped she'd be able to stay. But what if she didn't feel the bee? It was very small after all. Maybe he should tell her about it. He crept out of his bedroom onto the landing. Then, suddenly something hit his neck. It was a bee. Ow! Rupert cried. Someone put a bee in my bed, Clarabelle said, standing on the landing holding a pea shooter, so I thought I'd return it. Rupert felt his cheeks grow warm. It wasn't me. Clarabelle grinned. Doesn't matter. I can't sleep anyway. Come on, I have found a much better use for all those mattresses. Clarabelle had heaped mattresses all around her room. Whee! She cried, jumping from one pile to another. They are like trampolines. What's a trampoline? Rupert asked. Clarabelle just laughed. Bet you can't jump as high as me. Rupert grinned and bounced after her. It was great fun. He never tried trampoline before. Have you ever been sledging? Asked Clarabelle. Rupert shook his head. Mother doesn't let me go outside if it snows. She's afraid I'll get hurt. Nonsense. Let's go now, Clarabelle cried. But it isn't snowing, Rupert frowned. Doesn't matter. We don't even have to go outside, Clarabelle laughed. She grabbed the mattresses and headed for the grand staircase. Woohoo! Rupert cried as they slid down the stair on the mattresses. This is the best night ever. Yes, it is, Clarabelle grinned. But now the sun coming up. Back to bed, quick, quick. Just as Rupert and Clarabelle had piled up the mattresses again, the Queen walked in. Good morning, she said. Did you sleep well? Actually, I haven't slept at all, Clarabelle confessed. How wonderful, the Queen exclaimed. You must come and play again, Princess Clarabelle. Hooray! Rupert cheered, but Clarabelle laughed. I'd love to come around to play with the prince. But my name's not Princess Clarabelle. It's Eveline. I live in the village, Rupert gasped. The Queen was astonished. Can Eveline still visit, Mom? Rupert asked. The Queen hesitated, but then she looked at Rupert's face. She'd never seen him so happy. Yes, she smiled. Hooray! Rupert cheered, and suddenly all the Queen's worry disappeared. Her clever idea hadn't worked out as she'd planned. But whether Eveline was a princess or not, she made Rupert happy, and that was all that mattered.